This time on Old Boy's Garage, we're going to put the brakes on the Grand National. Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Not welcome back to the shop, welcome to the shop. Look. We've built a new shop. It's phenomenal, what I've always wanted. Alright, now it's time to see what actually comes in the box that you get. And here it is. Once again, we ordered from Classic Performance. Get their entire kit. This is the Street Beast kit. They do have one that's a little step up from this one. It's more for a show car. So I opted for the Street Beast one. It's packaged very well. It's definitely not going anywhere. And let's see what's in the box. Oh, we got they sent me a nice hat. I think they were running a promo. That's why I got it. Trust me, they don't like me that much. Here's the unit itself. I might have to put that down on the ground to pick it up. Let's see what else we got here. And this would be all of the hoses you need to do the swap. To do your feed and return lines. Properly crimped up. Look very nice. And, oh, sent me a sticker. You know where that's going, over there on the fridge, right? Oh, and a quick little how-to on it. Which we may need to reference, I don't know yet. We'll see. Oh, I got 2 stickers. Bonus. Alright. I will probably have to put this down to get this to where you guys can see it. Here's the entire unit itself. The Hydroboost unit, the new master cylinder, and as you can see, they definitely took care to make sure that this is protected. And this is actually adjustable, and we'll go over that later. But I am glad to see they protect this. This would be easy to bend in transit, even with that really nice packaging they did. Couple more things in the bag here. Oh, looks like a new bracket. More fittings. Bleeder kit. Oh, this is a bleeder kit. Okay, cool. I probably won't be using that. I'll show you guys a different way to do it. All right. One thing I would like to point out is that this master cylinder unit from the Street Beast kit is not coated with anything. The Hydroboost unit itself is nice and coated, but this is bare metal. So what I'm going to do before I even get started on this is mask a lot of this off, and I'm probably going to spray this with some clear. And we'll do that to help protect it before we install it. But there's the new unit. It's going to look great in the car, and it's going to stop a hell of a lot better than those damn Power Masters. All right, now we got to get this guy out. So the first thing you need to do is get in the car and press the brake pedal 10-15 times to get the pressure out of the accumulator if it still has any in it. Then we're going to use a couple of syringes to pull all the fluid out of here and out of the power steering, because that's what we have to hook into for the new unit to get our power assist up. So it out, we're good with this and the power steering reservoir. We're going to have to be doing a lot of changing of how the hoses are routed as far as the power steering goes. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to go ahead and take off the alternator, the AC compressor, so we can get access to the power steering pump and make our lives a little bit easier. So here we go. Do yourself a favor when you do this, and when you pull that off, get you a nice clean shop rag, stick it in the turbo so you don't drop anything in it. Just remember to take it out before you put it back together. And if you're wondering why I have this, I used to have that old school torque strap on there to hold that thing down a long time ago, and well, I upgraded to HR parts and stuff, poly mounts, which work way better, but I didn't have this bolt anymore, so I was young and dumb and I don't know what to do with it, so we still have to use this one. Now when you're taking this wire off here, this one goes straight to the battery from the alternator, so be very careful with it. Don't let it touch anything it's not supposed to. I'm going to take it off and then cover it with a piece of plastic and keep it out of the way. Now this has the line for the alternator that runs to the battery. This one is for my fuel pump hot wire, and this one is for the Hobbs switch that activates the second pump. And it looks like I might need to clean that up a little bit. I need to hit it with some sandpaper or something. But yeah, so this is the one that's live right here. I want to make sure we cover this up. Or you can just unhook your battery. It's up to you. Mine has like 30,000 wires that come off of it, so kind of more of a pain in the butt to unhook than it's put plastic over that. So we're gonna go with that. All right, so we've got all the accessories off. That's giving us access to the power steering pump right here. And that's the first line we're gonna have to undo and reroute. But before we can get all that done, we have to take the master cylinder out, which means Christopher is going to have to crawl under the dash and do all that because I don't want to. So, yeah, here we go. All right, so we've got everything unhooked under the dash. The pedals unhooked. We have the 4 bolts for the mounts unhooked. We're going to go ahead and finish taking these off. Unplug the Power Master unit at the plugs here, and we should be able to pull it right out. Now, you are going to get some brake fluid when this comes out, but as long as you keep it off your paint, you should be fine. All right, so we've got the unit out. Next thing we have to do is measure the length from the plate to to the edge of the prop rod. I'm going to measure to the middle of it just to make sure I've got it right. And we'll use that on the new one because the new one has an adjustable on it. If you're just replacing this with another stock unit, you don't have to do this part. Oh. And if you are replacing this and sending it back, remember to take this adapter plate off because this is yours from your car. They will not, the new one will not have a plate on it. We got 4.5 inches. So here's the new unit. So we need to measure the same distance and try to hit the same goal we did with the center of that hole. By the way, if you bought the same kit that I did, you're going to have 2 different size holes you can use. You're going to need the bigger one. So let's run this in and see if we can get it down to 4.5. Right about there is good. So now we just need to tighten down the lock nut and we're ready to put it back in.
Exercise mat.
I think it's a yoga mat.
It says exercise mat on it. Gym mat. The ultimate exercise mat. Yoga training max. Yeah, it's a yoga mat.
So Keegan's making a gasket for us to put the unit against the firewall, just because of the irregularities in the firewall with this custom template we made. And so now we're going to see how bad he fucks it up and then
Out of a
go
case
back
of
and do
Miller
it again.
Lite. Right, Dad?
You could use the scissors.
Nah. Actually, I should probably make it bigger. Huh?
No, it's good. It'll squish when we put it on. It'll squish out. Also, we don't recommend using a yoga mat for a gasket. You should probably get some real gasket material, but that's
This is not going to,
this is what we have at the shop.
yeah, it's not going to make your warranty work. They will probably reject your warranty if something breaks. If you did not use the proper.
Actually, with the classic performance products brake setup, as long as you have this filter installed in line with your Hydroboost setup, your warranty is good. Here is the finished product. The yoga / exercise mat cut into where we need it, and we decided to go ahead and reuse the boot from the original PowerMaster.
First try!
Fuck yeah, bud. Stop.
Hey, are you gonna need different brake lines to fit this?
What?
Are you gonna need different brake line ends to fit this?
We'll just tweak them a little.
You'll probably kink it.
I got a tubing bender.
For stuff that small?
Yep. Alright, I got. Alright, now we're about to remove the power steering assembly, the pump and the reservoir. I'm going to take them all apart so I can get them cleaned up real well. We have a new pump we're going to put into because I'm pretty sure that's the original. So You've got two 10mm bolts up here, one here and one in the back for the reservoir. The lines down here, these fittings are 18. I did not have a line wrench that would fit them, so we're going with an 18. It's going to be really careful. And then on the pump itself, you've got 13s. So we're going to get this all out. We're going to flush it all out. We're going to be keeping these lines, the lines off of the return. So, yep, we're going to get it all cleaned up and we'll get going. Hey guys, one thing I wanted to point out. So, these are the lines that run from your proportioning valve. The rear line is a 9/16 18, and the front line is a 1/2 inch 20. Now, if you've got the stock PowerMaster brakes, or you have a vacuum setup, the forwardmost port towards the radiator, that is for the rear brakes, and the back port towards the firewall is for the front brakes. If you get this kit from Classic Performance, this master cylinder has them swapped. So the front port is for the front brakes, and the rear port is for the rear brakes. So if you still have the stock lines in place, this is a good time to go ahead and change them. Maybe bend your own so you can get them to where you want to go. I just replaced all of the lines on the car about 10 years ago with all stainless steel lines from Classic Tube, and I really don't want to have to replace these. So I'm going to try to bend them and make them fit. Worst case scenario is I'll call up Classic Tube and get some stainless line, and I'll bend new ones. So if there's one thing that I've learned with this project so far, is that stainless steel material is a little difficult to work with when it comes to using tubes, brake lines, per se. I've wasted a lot of time trying to get the brake lines where I need them to be, especially the one that goes to the front. So much as bending it where I needed it to be, which really wasn't a problem. I did get it where I needed it to be, but it was a little too long. Cutting it off, trying to flare it, learning that it's difficult to cut that tubing. You should really use a cutoff wheel and not a tubing cutter. Also that most of your standard flaring tools that you have that you can go buy at your local parts store, they don't work the same way. Because the material is much harder. So I called up the place I got the lines from in the first place when I replaced them before, Classic Tube. I called those guys up and guess what they sent me? Oh, let's see. Well, I sent them my line that I had already bent up. And this is it right here. I changed the bends here, here, and here, and asked them if they could please make a little cut on this, put the nut back on it, and flare it. And they said absolutely not a problem, which I thought was awesome of them. But instead, they were super awesome and bent a whole new brand line. Look at this, brand new line, just for me, bent to the exact specs of this line. So this is what's going to help finish this project up. I can't thank the guys at Classic Tube enough. Once I get this in, I think I might have to put a little bit more of a bend on it here to make it go straight in where I want it. But once it's done, what I'm going to do is when I have to put the car away for the winter, I'm going to take this line back off when I have it perfect where I want it. They're going to map it out. They're going to have it in their computer to fit specifically that master cylinder from Classic Performance. So if you decide to do this to your car, you can call them up, give them this part number, which I don't have yet. I will put it in the description of the video once we have it, and just order the new line and not have a problem.
I'm also going to talk to Classic Performance and see if they can maybe put this on their website too, as far as making this swap easier for everyone. So most of this journey's been dealing with this stupid line, not this one, the other stupid line. And we're going to knock it out now and hopefully get this done quick. Look how good that line sits in there. Custom line from Classic Tube. This one will need a custom bend in it. This one needs a bend too, but you can do it yourself. It's not too much to it. So next up, we're going to be connecting the hydraulic lines. So this line closest to the firewall on this side here, this goes to the steering box. This goes to your return. And the one on this side that you can kind of see down there, that goes from the power steering pump to this. So from the power steering pump to this connection, from the Hydroboost to the steering box, from the Hydroboost to the reservoir. We'll get those lines cut up and made now. All right, now, so, oops. Per the instructions on the website, once you have your hose cut the length, the first thing you're going to run down is the collar, which is reverse threaded. You run this down. We are almost there. Just for the sake of the video, once you have that on all the way, you want to take this piece, lube it up with a little bit of power steering fluid. Then it's going to go in like this, and you're going to screw it in. As it goes down, it's going to expand that hose out and make your seal. But don't tighten it down all the way yet. You're going to put it back on the car and make sure you've got the fitting cocked the right way. This hose is very stiff as far as twisting it. So you need to make sure when you do run it, you've got everything the way you want it. So run this back, run this in, not all the way. Give yourself, get a paint marker or marker or something, and kind of mark which way it needs to be here. Come back to your bench and get it tightened up all the way to where that mark lines up. The directions that they give also say to put this collar piece in a vise while you tighten this down. So we'll be doing that too. One of the pieces of the kit you're going to get is a bag full of adapters. These adapters are going to screw into your power steering pump, and they will attach to this guy that's going to go to your line. So for my car, the 87 Grand National, this was the correct one to use. Your car may be different. Just give it a little look-see. Of course, don't force them in, but that's what those are for. All right, so we have our high pressure line runs up over here from the power steering pump to that connection on the Hydroboost unit. And we have two connections over here. That connection that you see towards the back goes from the Hydroboost unit to the power steering pump.
Now we're going to fashion the return line. So we have to take the return from the power steering and the return from the Hydroboost unit. We're going to throw a T-line in, probably over here on the fender, and run it to our filter, and then we're going to go into the return port on the power steering reservoir. All right. You know what? I'll do a diagram for this so you guys can check it out, but that's the way we're going to run it up. Cool. All right, and here we are back again. We get all the lines ran. These are the return lines to the filter, to the T, the return from the power steering box, the return from the Hydroboost unit. And like I said, I will diagram this for you guys. I got to clean some wiring up too. But I got one surprise for you. I did splurge a little bit and went ahead and bought something else that I thought I needed. Thanks to Dawn. It's going to look really sweet. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, more to come. All right, so the car's up in the air. The accessories are back on. No belt yet. Christopher and I just finished bleeding out the brakes because I know some of you guys are going to be like, Jeremy, why didn't you bench bleed that brand new master cylinder? And it's because I have a reverse bleeder from Phoenix Systems. Since I only spilled out a little bit up in the front, I decided I'll just push up what's left. We'll be done with it then. So that's all done and ready to go. We're going to yank the battery out, charge it over tonight so we can start it tomorrow. But next up is bleeding out the power steering system, making sure we can get as much out we can before we actually try to start it, and then we'll have to bleed it some more. So, all right, more to come. All right, so we're getting ready to purge the power steering system. Christopher was nice enough to come over and help me do it. Hello, everyone. If you know me, we're a big hockey family, and I was trying to find a way to somehow like pre-stage it, like, you know, get the air out of the system real easier without having to start the motor. And well, we came up with an idea and we're gonna try it. We'll let you know how it works. So we took and we put a hole in a hockey puck, and we're gonna put that into the drill, and we're gonna spin that power steering pump and watch it hopefully purge all the air out of the system. We'll let you know how it works. All right, you got eyes on it. It's not working. All right, more washers and nuts. Okay, so we had to go to like round 2 on this thing. We need to put in a washer here, washer down here, not trying to press it in. It's still not perfect, but I think it's going to do what we need to make this thing work. So, Chris is going to wash the reservoir for me.
It's bubbling.
How's the level look?
Good so far. Bubbling.
Alright, turn the wheels back and forth again. You know what I think we're gonna have to do? We need a third person to watch this while I run that thing and you spin that. Okay, so what we figured out is we're gonna need 3 people to do this.
Nah.
I'm gonna run the hockey puck turner here. Connor's gonna use my flashlight and watch the power steering reservoir, and Christopher's going to slowly turn it from lock to lock so we don't run dry. There you go. Where are we at now? Are we straightforward?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh, stop. That already went down.
It did?
Yeah.
How much? Oh, it's probably when you turn the wheels back the other way. How much we got left in there? No. Don't touch anything. How much is left in there?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Is that half full?
Yeah.
Here, let me hit it real quick. Ready? Watch it.
Stop. It's running it down.
Okay, let's put some more in there. Oh, jeez.
Trigger happy?
I like watching pucks fly.
Is that what
That's my job, not yours.
No, you like stopping pucks. Bring my light over here. Alright, I don't want to put too much more in there, because if we go back the other way with the wheel, it might come back up.
Yeah, it went
Don't
down.
burn my battery down on the thing either.
Yeah, it went down pretty quick.
Those batteries are expensive.
What batteries are they?
They're 123s.
Okay.
No, that's the number on them, 123s. They're like a lithium battery people using.
Lithium, that's the word I was looking for.
They're lithium battery people using. They used to use them in cameras for the flash. All right,
Oh, that's a lithium.
all right, let's do it. Ready?
Do you want me to turn it all the way left or right?
Nope, I want you to do nothing yet.
Still moving down.
I see it leveled off there.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna hit it, and I want you to slowly take it to the left.
All right.
Connor, watch the fluid level. Don't give me like
My bad.
bad nightmares. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So now that Connor's over here to help us out, he's going to watch the reservoir. I'm going to run the pump with the puck drill thingy. And Christopher's going to slowly push on the brakes. And Connor's going to let me know if the level gets too low. So that's what we're about to do right now. Puck drill thing.
Canada.
What?
Huh?
Not Canadian. What's wrong with you?
All the way down.
Whoa, you hear that? All right, back up.
All the way up.
Down again.
All the way down.
All right, back up.
Good.
I think we got all the air out. Look all right? It's a little foamy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that air will work its way out. So I'm pretty sure we got all the air out. The manufacturer says that it probably will take a few days of regular driving to get the residual air out of the system, but I think I got out as much as I possibly can. Also, they recommend that if you're going to start the engine, that you do it with the car on the ground, because if you accidentally hook the lines up the wrong way, it'll throw the steering really hard to the right. So I didn't want to mess with that. We did it off the ground. We kind of made our own momentum there on the pump. I think we're good to go. I'm going to do what they recommend, however, and tomorrow when we fire it up, it's going to be on the ground. We're going to wait and see, you know, hopefully nothing explodes. Nothing's leaked yet, I don't think, so. No, I would call this a success, so we'll continue on. And by the way, if you want to buy one of these puck tools, just send me a message and I'll sell you one. Or you can just make one yourself. Alright, so it's been about 3 or 4 weeks now since we finished the conversion. The car stops better than it ever has, ever in its whole life that I've owned it. That saying of stop on a dime and give you 8 cents change, that's this car now. Like, I can't say enough good stuff about this braking system. It's a little bit of work to put in. It's totally worth the work, and hopefully if you've watched this whole video, the problems that I ran into, you're gonna get right around real quick and not get hung up on them. That special brake line, we're still gonna do that. I'm gonna start mocking that up here in the next few days and hopefully get it out to Classic so they can get the dimensions in their computer so it's available for order to make your life a little bit easier. There's only been one con so far that I can bring up, and it's really not that big of a deal. It's low speed turns, like in a parking lot when you're trying to park somewhere. If you're on the brake a little too hard, the brake's going to use up the pressure from the power steering pump and you're going to have a hard time turning your wheel. It's only happened to me maybe 2 or 3 times so far, so I don't think it's all that big of a deal. And it's the fact that the stock pump on these cars doesn't have enough pressure to run both systems. It was never designed to do that, and we know that. So it's to be expected. Could you run a bigger pump on it? Most likely. I think you could. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. You'd have to fab up some brackets and kind of do it yourself. I'm thinking about maybe trying that because I do have a older power steering pump here from my Duramax that I know puts out plenty of pressure, but that's for another time. The bottom line is this upgrade is awesome. I would recommend it. I can't wait to get it out on the track and see what it does there. See you guys next time.